I bet your trading hasn't been quite the same lately, and I want to show you exactly why that might be and how you can maybe avoid it to become a better trader on the day-to-day. Let's hop into the charts here and you'll see what I mean. Looking at today's price action, let's look at all the potential good ideas or great trades that I would want to take. So we have some nice bounce plays off of New York VWAP here in black. For anyone that hasn't seen my strategy, it is available on ASFX TV. So if you go to ASFX TV, you can see here Futures 2.0. If you use code Evan, I'll give you 50% off your first month. So that way you can go through the course at your own speed, at your own pace, watch as many times as you want, as well as tune into the live streams where I take these strategies live with you guys who tune in. But anyways, back to the charts here. Now you'll maybe understand more of the setups I present here. But I think you're seeing nice trend continuation, which is going to be our best days to trade like most people. But we get a nice bounce off New York VWAP in line with our 15-minute trend. So that lines up beautifully. If you know anything about me, I love to trade strictly, if I'm on a good day, off key levels. So we have a nice initial balance bounce here, initial balance bounce there as well, and off the New York VWAP. So there's great plays to continue the bearish trend that we clearly have in today, right? We're getting legs of new lows. We're continuing the trend. We're extending lower. Well, let's take that information back to yesterday of this very same week. So let's rewind it here and get our new levels. Yesterday, we have a nice clear bearish drop here at the open. We could turn off the initial balance here so it doesn't get too crowded. But you can see the opening range, right? Our black lines here, the first 15 minutes set in on the day. We break the bottom and we get a nice run for bearish trend continuation because this is the week of March 10th or so. And we're having a very bearish week last week as well. So the sentiment has been bearish. I'm very easy to believe that shorts could want to continue when every open comes in like this, right? So now we pull back to key level number 1, New York VWAP. But we don't just fold underneath and continue that trend. We don't even continue the trend at all that day. We don't even continue or reverse the trend for a new high a day either. We just stay within our range that we set in the first hour. So it can be very difficult not to want to take this bounce play short, saying sellers are going to defend this key level, make our next lower high. Let's go make the next lower low. But you don't necessarily want to buy it up here or even sell it up here. You don't have great reason to, and you're kind of just stuck within this range. One thing we could look at, if we bring up the 15-minute, that's a huge part of my trading as well. Let's see what the 15-minute looked like on that day. We'll throw on a daily VWAP so you can see what I mean. So the retest to the New York VWAP that I'm mentioning here in black, that's a nice retest for sure. Where if you look here, this is on Wednesday. Yes. On Wednesday, you can see how much we just chopped. We have this big drop making a new low of day. But then we're going to go try to make a new high a day. How likely is that? But we just stay stuck within this range. But I don't necessarily want to chase this move back lower either because that would have to continue the trend. And trend has clearly left the building today, right? A little tip I just like to give you guys is if we're still inside these levels of the opening range, initial balance at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whenever, the later it gets and the longer we're around these levels, that's clearly not a great sign. We should be away from these levels, continuing trend all day. You could take it back to like I just went over on the previous day. On this day, Thursday, if we check in at 2 o'clock, 2:30, we're well outside this level way up here because we've been moving. Sellers have been in control. They're moving us lower and lower and lower. Great. We're trending. But if I could just look at myself on this Wednesday prior, we're at the initial balance and the opening range. It's 1 o'clock. Why haven't we left the building? Why aren't sellers just moving us lower and lower? Are they going to find the strength to just step back in at 3 o'clock and finally send us lower when they've been struggling to do that all day? Probably not. So just taking small things into account like that of recognizing, hey, this is not my trending day. This is not where I perform best on. I don't really have a great sign to want to buy it up there because if you've seen any of my videos as well, I'll mention the edgeful stats on this initial balance double break. We probably don't break both sides. So we broke the bottom here. Well, then we probably don't want to go double break up there. So I can't really give myself good reasons for long unless I get a really good bounce price, right? If the trend is no longer there, then price becomes even more of a focus of getting great bounce plays as close to these VWAPs as possible. Not seeing it bounce and then wanting to get in because now you're too late. You're chasing the move that isn't likely to extend because we're stuck in a range. So you got to get it at a really good price before the move becomes obvious, if you want to say that. Let's look at the day prior. We'll rewind it, get our new levels here. Same idea. Evan, you just said we don't double break the initial bounce. Well, this day did. Exactly why I'm saying your trading's probably not working out exactly like it was in December, January, or even February, because a lot of different things are happening that we aren't expecting or aren't usual, but we might have to get used to it. We always have to be flexible and evolve what the markets are going to give us. But let's talk about on this day, same thing, that key level retest of New York view up that we went over in the past 2 days, selling it off that bounce. It doesn't necessarily bounce right away, but it does come lower. Okay, nice. There's our trend continuation. Let's turn off this initial bounce to clean it up a bit. But it does dip a little bit above the New York view up. Okay, so how could I have maybe known that was going to happen and we're not going to just fold under here and move back lower? Well, let me maybe check out the 15-minute as well just to see where we're at in relation to trend. So if we go to Tuesday, throw on the daily view up, that changeover of day here. Well, now you can see, yes, it's retesting the New York here on the 1 minute, but it still wanted to come a little bit higher because it was really just retesting the daily view up as well, right? So it still looks mighty, mighty bearish. I definitely want to sell it. This is now the retest. I thought it was going to be this here on the 1 minute, but it wanted to come a little bit higher to tag that higher time frame view up. Okay, no harm. I'll get back in. You sell it back, and then you get the trend continuation. But same thing, we're not continuing the trend over and over again, because the next time you come up to New York, sellers do not defend it. They do not continue the trend for another new lower low, like we saw on the Thursday markup, or even on yesterday's markup, the one we just went over previous. It just sat sideways. But this one actually rallied all the way up to double break it, and then right back down. So I think it's paramount. If you can make your money early in the morning, almost before the trend might disappear, right? Because it might. I don't want to word it like that. But we've seen plenty of days give great opportunities, lower highs and lower lows, and then they're gone. And then we just see buyers come in and reverse us. Or same thing like we just went over on the day right before this markup. I don't want to have, I'm hoping days are like this when we continue the lower highs and lower lows throughout. But then we come back to the day prior. If I can capitalize on these lower lows and lower highs, well, then it doesn't really affect me if the sellers disappear because I'm done. I'm up on the day. I made my money. See you guys tomorrow. I don't need to predict what's going to happen later. Same thing on this day. If you can catch nice shorts, they don't last all day. So hopefully you guys made your money and now you're done. But then on this Monday, let's rewind it here. Obviously, trend continuation. And same thing I mentioned in the earlier days. Notice how it's 1:30 here, 3:30 in the afternoon, Eastern time here, and we're well outside this range. Beautiful. Yes, we're still trending. We're moving away from these levels. Clearly, there's sellers in control, and they're keeping that control. So now I could believe let's keep moving away. But if we come back inside these ranges later on in the afternoon, I don't want to touch it because they should not be around here, If we're trending nicely, there's clearly one direction in control. So just knowing that simple fact, to take a trade in the afternoon, I need to be outside these levels. I can't be stuck, trapped inside here trying to figure out which way they want to bounce, where they're going to finish the day. If we're below these levels, I'll keep looking for shorts, right? You got a nice, beautiful retest on the low side there, as well as a retest in New York view up there, and you can capitalize on the bearish structure. But if we somehow made our way all the way back up into these levels later on in the afternoon, I don't care. I'm done. I'm not going to guess where that wants to finish the day because that just erased a lot of today's move. What's going on? So hope you guys made money on it. Hope you guys aren't getting chopped around too much because I literally had a coaching call today. I think it was of this week's markups as well, maybe a little bit of last week, but taking literally almost the identical setup of, we'll call it a bounce play off New York view up, right? He took this short, didn't bounce lower, but you take that trade on a day like this, the bounce play, it does move lower. You take it on the day before it, bounce play, it did move lower. So like his trades were literally all identical, but some lost, some won. That sounds like trading, but on average, way more of them had been winning because you're getting these sporadic afternoons, not so much follow through. You're getting more double breaks than you're maybe used to, right? For anyone that's unfamiliar with these double breaks, I'm talking about Edgefield here, where if you go to the choose report, the initial balance breakout, and the stats are still going to be low probability now that we look at it, but they might be changing through time, but becoming a little more likely, but still unlikely. So you can see here the chance of a double break, like I'm speaking about, 19% chance. That is 24 times that it happened. So that's a pretty significant number, but only 24 out of 126 days. So that's when it becomes low probability. But if you get caught on the wrong end of it, it did happen 24 times. So it's not like it's once every blue moon. It is just unlikely. And sometimes things that are unlikely, they happen. So we just live by it. But hope you guys are making money. If you need an account because you got chopped up this week, as sad as it is to say, I can save you some money on Tradeify if you use code Evan. I can get you 30% off all of these accounts, whether it's the growth, the advanced, or the straight to sim. Just use my name at checkout, and you'll save like over $200. So hopefully you're not buying them at full price. That would just be silly. But I really hope you guys don't give up on your strategy too soon because you're experiencing a little bit of sporadic movement and volatility in these afternoons, right? We got a nice clean trending day on this Thursday as well as the Monday. I don't want to say I can't explain it, but this Wednesday and Tuesday are pretty weird. If I don't know why that happened. That's a weird finish to the day. It looked like sellers were in control. Same thing with on the Tuesday. So I don't know. And we don't always know what's happening. So it's really like, if you can make your money, get out of the market. And if you're not making money or you're struggling to make money, size down. Wait till you feel good again. Wait till you feel confident again. Wait till you see your plays working out at a higher rate. And then you can start to get back to that normal risk. There's no need to press on the gas on these weeks when we're having some pretty weird finishes to the day, aka a break for a new low a day, and then we just rally 100 points to break the highs. That wasn't happening 2 weeks ago. So let me pause, analyze what I could be doing better, what I want to slow down on, and let's survive for 2 weeks from now, a month from now, right? So if you guys made money, like I said, if you need me, always feel free to reach out about the strategy, about Tradeify, anything and everything. I'm always around. So trade safe, and I'll see you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.